Now I want to hear about your worst modeling job you ever did. We could talk all day about your modeling gigs. Yeah, let me tell you, she's had thousands. So,
maybe I've blocked it.
Blocked it out
from memory.
It was traumatic, and it could be just that the AC was broken, somebody fell on the runway, or it could be that the
those experiences are fun. I did a fashion show in Bogotá. Bogotá's up in the mountains, and they had I think it's almost like plexiglass the runway.
Oh no!
And it was from dusk.
Oh no!
And what they didn't realize that the condensation on the runway when you stepped on it started collecting, so people started slipping off like little penguins.
Wait, off the end of the runway?
They would step and they would slip and slide and they go and they'd fall off. So I think and they had it the structure on the outside. So my mom went and she said when the guys came out, one of my friends, Javi, he started slipping, so he holds on, he's slipping like this and holding on, and then
to try to keep from falling off the runway.
And then I walked out with this famous designer, Hernan Sahar, and we're holding on. We're both slipping, and because it was it became so slippery. So, but it's funny. They're fun.
It's funny in retrospect.
Yeah, at the moment,
I'm sure at the moment
out,
when a model slides off the end of the runway, I'm sure the designer, the choreographer, the person that produced it is horrified. Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely horrified. On top of the fact that if someone gets injured, who's getting sued?
Well, I mean, that's 2004. So.
But no one used to sue anybody, right? We just get hurt, when
in Latin America,
yeah.
They slipped off. My mom's they look like penguins going.
Yeah. Have you ever fallen on the runway?
I think I've fallen on my butt. I've lost so many shoes. I'm notorious here in Houston for always losing my shoes.
On the runway.
Lenny and Tamara, who are our big producer. Tamara always says, "You're the one who always loses your shoe."
You mean just walking and your shoe?
I lose my shoe because I have such a narrow foot.
Yeah.
Every time I see a pump, I'm like, no.
And the pump just flies off in the show.
Especially if we have to wear pantyhose with it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, people don't realize all this stuff. So that's a good point to talk about. So people are like, oh, look at the pretty model walking on the runway.
It's so easy to walk.
Half the time, they've given you a shoe that's too little or too big. And your toes inside of that pretty face going down the runway all sexy are clenched, and you have a death clench on your shoe, and you're walking like you've never walked before, like you're a newborn learning to walk, and you're trying to look pretty and you're trying to make it look smooth, yet you can't keep your shoe on, and your outfit's falling off, and your bra's about to poke out, and you're afraid your boob's gonna get exposed. So I mean, I just think it's so funny because they don't realize every show there's one outfit, one scene where something goes awry.
Of course, that's when it's stressing you out about that.
And you're just trying to hide it so that you can get back off the runway as fast as possible so that you can get to that next outfit.
Right.
Which I don't think people realize that. Because they'll come to a show and be like, it was fabulous. And I'll be like, oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. I mean, this girl, I don't know. This girl, shoes fell off. This girl tripped on her outfit. This girl couldn't walk in her dress. This girl's dress boob popped out. Things that sometimes people don't notice. But yeah. You hear about it backstage. Yeah. My shoe fell off once in a runway. It was Fashion Week for Houston, our first Fashion Week. And we had that big designer, and we were in the show. You were in the show with me, and we had to wear that black eye, and we had hair that looked like we were Frankenstein. It was supposed to look cool,
right?
But we looked like Frankenstein. It wasn't pretty. And I can't remember the designer. It was actually a big designer. It was like the title of the Fashion Week.
Okay.
And my shoe flipped off, and I was like, well, I have one shoe on, and I can either hobble down the runway, or what do I do? So I kicked them both off, and they just walked barefooted, the rest of the thing, which I'm assuming you've done. And one of our little friends in the audience, one of our little precious gay designers, jumped up and grabbed him off in the middle of the thing. And at the end of that, at that walk, they did a little standing ovation, but it was all of our friends. Yeah. It was the agents and some of our friends. And I just thought that was so sweet because they were like, oh, I know she's horrified. Yeah. They knew in your mind you're horrified. So they were trying to soften the blow. But I'm glad to know you've slipped and fallen too.
I'm trying to think. I know I've fallen on my butt. Can't remember what show, but there was the shoes always. I'm notorious for losing my shoe. I'm always, every time I see the shoes, and because I feel like I've earned.
Right.
Because I'm a veteran now.
That's right. You've been a veteran for a while.
I feel like I can ask the client, the client or the producer, can I please have a strap around my ankle?
Right.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, when you're young, you let yourself get
tortured.
Do it.
You just do it. But I'm like, I kind of earned my dues to ask for something around my ankle. But yeah, I've
Yeah.
had it where I picked it up, or there was a fashion week and they used to like air them live in Columbia Fashion Week, and I was the bride, and then I had to go back out with the designer. And so you see me walking back, and I was like, oh, I can't do this again. You see me pull off my shoes and just throw them, and then turn around and grab the designer and we walk. I mean, you just see me like throw them backstage like this. And
You're like,
she
I'm
was like,
not struggling with this. All the way down to the end of the runway with a designer and make a fool out of myself. So
exactly.
You're like,
I get rated it once. We're not doing it again.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stories. And there's so many stories like that.
Right.
And we could sit here probably and in 10 minutes you'd think of another one and another one and another one. And I love those stories. Actually, we should sit down sometime and do a whole podcast on screw ups that happened on the runway, backstage, some sort of nightmare that happened.
Oh, and I got zipped. My underwear got zipped up in a dress once.
Oh gosh.
And I turned. It was really intense. I turned around to their assistant Anthony. I was like, "Just cut my thong. Cut me out. I don't care." But he was able to like unzip me and get me out. I was like, "Just do it.
Just get it off."
I mean, she zipped it so fast. My underwear. I was like, "Oh, who?"
Take the whole dress off with my thong. Just take it.
Just take it. Do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like when you ask me about these awful experiences, like, I know they're there. Like in the back of my mind, like there's like these phantom memories of me feeling like really upset, really sad.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, I felt bad. Like the clients made me feel bad. But I think I've chosen to like, boom, put them away.
Right. And remember the good stuff.
And just remember the good stuff. Because I mean, I probably would have to sit and think about it, but I try not to reflect on it. And